I think we're gonna have two guys doing it because these
Wow.
are
You're going to have two guys do wait, you're going to have two guys doing it in the locker room?
We're gonna have two guys doing it in the locker room.
Clip that.
Hands on arms.
Welcome to the Class is Permanent podcast. Today is Monday, July 20th, and we have our big World Cup recap episode. Spain are World Cup champions. We're going to be breaking down the tournament, the game against Argentina yesterday, some of our hot takes. Let's not wait for anything. Away we go.
Class is permanent! Hey, 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 hey. Form is temporary!
Alrighty, as always, I am joined by two men I spent a lot of time with this weekend, Mr. Daniel Capucci and Mr. Andre Dirty Rubes Hidubi. How are we, fellas?
I was good up until I ate a peanut butter sandwich for lunch. Now I feel like shit. I'm not gonna lie.
You allergic to peanut butter?
No, I don't know what it was. I was fine, and then I ate a peanut butter and jelly for lunch, and I was
His
like,
body's
"Oh,
rocked from the
fuck.
weekend.
I feel like shit." It's not even that. I felt fine since we got home. It's just that peanut butter and jelly sandwich did something to me.
Brother, why are you eating PB&J? Our girl Megan over at Saratoga Surfside Party Deck, whatever it's called, won us so much money. We should be eating lobster for lunch. You're not eating lobster?
No, I'm not eating lobster.
All right. Well, I do want to give a quick shout out to the Ortiz brothers, two of the best jockeys in the world. If you bet on them up in Saratoga, you're going to win some money. They went on an unreal run there. Shout out Megan. She really helped us out
The
big
little
time.
birdie in our ear told
The-
us a little something.
100%. And no, there's no insider info that we got. It was just more so we had an expert sitting in the booth with us. We did not know. But for those that don't know, we were with a one-time guest of the show, Mr. James Jimbo Sherry. His bachelor party, we went up to what we all thought was Lake George, Lake Schenectady. I don't know if I'm saying it right, but had an awesome weekend, deleted a lot of brews, and then we got home just in time for the World Cup final. Yeah, I also got a bug in my ear. That was probably one of the most insane things in my life. I got legitimately a beetle crawled into my ear while we were on the party bus, and we had to pour hydrogen peroxide in my ear to get it out. This is also
For the record, half of the party bus didn't realize quite how much pain Ethan was in. They thought he was shaking his head to like the beat of the music, just kind of being his foolish self. So that was almost a real disaster.
I also don't think people realized, number one, how big the bug was. I didn't realize how large it was. Number two, I don't think people realized how deep it was in my ear. It was to the point that Roman was flashing a flashlight in my ear with me holding my ear and goes, dude, there's nothing in your ear. It was that deep into my ear canal that I felt it, like not in my ear, but like almost behind my head. It's a real thing that happens to people. 1 in a million Americans get a beetle in their ear at a Lake George, not actually Lake George bachelor party, but we rallied. We continue to go on and live our lives, and we had a great weekend. But before we jump in the World Cup, during our weekend, Mr. Andre Hidubi got some very good news this weekend, and maybe even food chain someone else on the podcast. Morgan Rogers to Chelsea. Rubes, I'm going to give you 2 total minutes for this, 120 seconds to talk about this impact, this signing, and what it means for Chelsea.
I was muted there, so thank you. But yeah, I mean, this is a big one for Chelsea. We were coming into the window. I knew the board wanted a left-sided attacker. Kind of all the rumblings where, Morgan Rogers is a perfect fit. We're trying to convince Morgan Rogers. Every report actually coming out about Morgan Rogers said he's off to Arsenal. I didn't want to get the hopes too high. Every other target we were looking at seemed like a significant drop-off, unrealistic, wouldn't really work out. So I think this is a massive coup for Chelsea. Xabi Alonso directly gets on the horn, convinces him to go. Food chains Arteta, food chains Arsenal. Massive coup for Chelsea. Another big plus is we lacked physicality, we lacked speed. Bringing in players like Palestra, Morgan Rogers brings more physicality, more height to the club. But, people will bring up the fee. I think the market is crazy right now. Unfortunately, 115 is like the new 80. If it wasn't going to be Morgan Rogers, it was going to be someone that disappoints the fans. So I think it's a huge move for the club. Going to be interesting to see how he fits in if we are going to go with that 5 in the back and we have 3 attackers with Morgs, Cole, and Zhao. If we're flexible at times and then go to 4 attackers with Estevao on the right, Morgs on the left, Palmer in the middle, Zhao Pedro up top. But double Cold Selly at the bridge, Fu chained Arsenal, Xabi Alonso directly involved, I think. Massive statement for Chelsea and really just the type of move they needed when fans were really concerned about how this window is going to go, concerned about who we were going to bring in. It's at least a statement that we are going to try to go out and compete.
Just one question here. Classes Permanent Podcast. How are you?
First time listener.
First time, long time. Yeah. So you mentioned them both doing the cold celebration. Do you think that this might create a rift in the locker room and actually blow up the locker room? And who gets to keep the celebration? I don't think you'd have 2 guys doing it in the same locker room.
I think we're gonna have 2 guys doing it because these
Wow.
are
You're gonna have 2 guys do. Wait. You're gonna have 2 guys doing it in the locker room.
We're gonna have 2 guys doing it in the locker room.
Clip that.
Hands on arms.
Clip that. Yo.
But no, but I mean, seriously, these are guys who are essentially 2 best friends. So that's part of the big pull here is that Cole Palmer, Morgan Rogers grew up in the City Academy together. It's kind of like you in the park with your boy coming up with a celebration that you're going to do together, go on to do your own things. And now you're actually linking back up together. So I think, even for Cole's sake, this is a huge coup that he's going to be happier to stay. And yes, the cute guy with the white cap in the back, I think name tag says Capuccio.
Yep. Hi, Dan Capucci, Classes Permanent Podcast. I just have 2 quick questions for you. One, are you nervous that last time you transfer mogged us, you ended up with Mudryk, and we ended up with Trossard, who ended up helping win us a league, and Mudryk got banned because he is taking illegal substances? Are you nervous that you may transfer mog us again, but you may lose 1,000 aura points?
Good. Hey, good question. Good question.
I don't think we're going to lose the aura points. I think Morgan Rogers compared to Mudryk, 2 completely different signings. One is one of those high risk, high reward signings in Mudryk. Morgan Rogers, you're going more with a Prem proven type of player, which Chelsea needed. However, I don't think it means it's end of the world for Arsenal. We saw that they were able to miss out on Mudryk, stick to their valuation, then go get another great player. Maybe Arsenal is able to transition to a Diamande, and maybe that's a better touchline winger fit. Maybe you bring in a Barcola, he surprises you, surprises some of the haters, and is a very high reward player. So I definitely don't think it's end of the world for Arsenal, but I think for Chelsea, much less risk involved with this, much less mog risk involved with this, not a youth slop type of move.
Got it. And then my second question is, are you a fan of CFCPYS on Twitter?
Account, not a fan. Person, not a fan.
Fizz.
Sure.
Yes,
I've never tried to pronounce it.
I go 50-50 with Fizz. I think he's not the worst, but he can be reactionary.
Okay, cool. On June 22nd of this year at 10:43 p.m., he tweeted, he replied to a tweet from an Arsenal account saying about Morgan Rogers, absolutely insane overpay, 60 million Great British pounds player max. I just want your thoughts on that.
I know that there was a lot of Chelsea fans who weren't obsessed with Morgan Rogers. Like there's some people that it doesn't maybe have that high flair feeling that you think you're spending 115, you should be getting a Vinny Jr. or a Kvaratskhelia. My statement to that is those players don't cost 115 anymore. A, they're not available. If you're going to buy one of those players, they're like 200. So if you're going to spend 115, lower your expectations just a touch. But who am I going to listen to? CSV Fizz and some other haters. Arteta wanted this guy as his top target. Chelsea's board wanted this guy as their top target. Xabi Alonso was directly involved in bringing him in. If some of the greatest minds like Arteta, Xabi Alonso directly want this guy in their team, I'm more focused on the player than the price. Is it a 15 million, 20 million overpay, sure. But Chelsea have a quality issue, and we need to bring quality into the team. If Arteta was willing to bring him in, I'm sure he's sitting there kind of frustrated he didn't get his guy. It's not the end of the world, but I think Chelsea said, this is the guy we want, and you got to sit there happy that we got the guy we wanted.
All right. Very nice. Well, Rubes, we will obviously be diving a lot deeper into transfer news in the coming weeks, right? So the window's already open, but we are starting to see some of these big moves start to happen. I'm sure it's just going to accelerate now. The World Cup's over. Players are going back and figure themselves out. Obviously, an exciting one there for Rubes and for the Prem. And something I love this window so far, all the teams look like they're gearing up. You're seeing just these moves start to come in, right? Obviously, Aston Villa got Monzambi, Spurs making their moves. Arsenal not necessarily having to gear up, but maybe kind of reload a little bit and some of that. But we will definitely see. I don't want to waste any more time. Let's just get right into it. Spain are your 2026 World Cup champions. La Segunda Estrella. This is a team that coming into the World Cup, I think we're favorites or one of the favorites, right? Probably top 3 favorites. And I think as the World Cup started, people were like, oh, maybe not, maybe not. I think this is maybe one of almost the misprofilings, the craziest misprofilings early, because early they looked almost a bit toothless. I don't think they were toothless. I just think they were showing like, we're going to smother you in the midfield, dominate possession, and teams just played them so defensively that, yeah, like winning 1-0 obviously is not as impressive as a France who was beating guys 3-0, 4-0, 5-0, but people were trying to play out on France and no one was trying to play out on Spain. The levels that they showed, I mean, 1 goal conceded throughout the tournament, 1 goal through 8 games, insane. Playing France, playing Portugal, and whether you like Ronaldo or not, playing Ronaldo, playing Messi, taking Messi out of the game. Out of the game. I forgot Messi was on the field at points. I've never said that in my life as like someone who's watched Messi his entire career. I don't think I've ever seen a game where I was like, Messi had no impact here. Insane. As a Spaniard, it's an amazing feeling. It's special. And yesterday I came into it feeling confident. Not necessarily we're guaranteed to win, but I felt, you know what, we're in a good spot. I think we're better than this Argentina team. We played like it, and then once we went to extra time, my heart sank. They had no shots on goal. I've seen this movie with Barca so much, right? Where we'll have 15 shots on goal, 20 shots on goal, can't score, and another team has 3 and scores and wins. And I was like, no. This is not how it's supposed to go. Or we go to a shootout here, and now they win in a shootout. They have more experience in a shootout. That's probably where they wanted to go. But Spain get it done. Ferran, Torres, El Tiburon. What a storyline for Ferran here. Early in the tournament, everyone's saying he's having a shit tournament. He gets the big assist against Belgium. He gets against Portugal. Then he gets the winning goal against Argentina here to win the World Cup. We've all seen the video of him pretty much begging, like, please just let it be a goal. What a tournament. Luis de la Fuente, genius. Incredible subs. Just having such an understanding of the game and such a feel. I could talk about this for hours. I'm going to pass it over to you guys, kind of let off these first couple takes here.
One thing that jumps off the page to me, it shows there are different ways to win and there are different ways to defend. Spain is not letting up chances in games. They're taking best players out of games, all without having a low block. They're holding onto the ball, pressing teams either in a mid block or a high press. It's just so impressive to see a team shut down other teams, but do it in their own style, where you are completely suffocating teams, taking them out of the game. I think I was texting you during the semis, and then it carried over for me into the finals, but I was just in awe with how Spain play as a team against some of the most talented players in the world. It's not like a collection of individuals and you're just hoping to have a moment of magic. They truly, you've said it, they play like a club team on the national stage. And it's all thanks to this incredible footballing philosophy they have set up in their country, where the women's team is going to play a certain way, your youth teams are going to play a certain way. You showed it to us at the Euros. You showed it to us at the Olympics. It carries over into the World Cup. And in our lifetimes, we've seen the peak of it. It started kind of in that 2010 era. We've now seen Spain win World Cups, multiple Euros, multiple World Cups. So it's so impressive to see how they play as a team, and it's 1000% deserved, the World Cup trophy. Zero controversy with a team like Spain winning it.
100%. Pooch, thoughts there?
The game itself I thought was extremely boring, and just from an entertainment value aspect, it was like, but I think that's a credit to Spain because that's kind of how they've played all tournament. It's like a slow death. It's like an
Yeah,
anaconda, like killing somebody. Like they're gonna slowly wrap around your body. You're not gonna be able to get out. And I think that's what they did with Argentina. I think what they did that made it so special, made them so special in this game, and not only this tournament, is they took the like any like threat. Like Argentina has been a vibes team this whole tournament,
right.
and they made it a vibeless game, which is
Yeah.
actually a credit
Yeah.
more to Spain, where like they didn't allow any vibes to kind of happen. The only time Argentina had any quote unquote vibes would be when their like Paredes comes in and starts trying to bully Spanish guys off the ball, and maybe you see little flare ups here and there, and like
Dirty player.
that
It's not
almost
like
got
Messi
Argentina.
turning constantly and the whole crowd
Exactly.
erupting.
Exactly. Like they were able to kill off the Argentinian fans very quickly. I think you have to give credit to uh Luis de la Fuente especially. I mean, he's won
Massive credit.
4 titles with kind of this group of players, the under 15s, the under 21s, the Euros, and then the World Cup.
Wow.
And I saw that there's one guy that played in every single final for him for those age groups and years, and it was Mikel Merino. He was the
Wow.
only one that played in 4 finals for him. There were 3 others. There were 3 guys that played in 3 out of the 4, and it was Orizabal,
I think Fabian Ruiz was one of
Fabian
those
Ruiz,
goes. Yeah,
and then Ferran Torres were the 3.
that's hilarious.
So, but like Marino was the one.
Right, right.
I think he states his case as top 3 Ballon d'Or for this season. I'm saying that 95% in jest,
Marino?
but yeah, but 5% hoping that like this. I know we don't have a vote,
You know,
but if
Gyökeres
if
is
we blow up
shaking in
and we
his
get
damn
it,
boots right
I
now.
know.
Yeah, absolutely insane. Like you said, I mean, could not have happened to a better guy. Talking about De La Fuente, like worked his way up. Another really interesting as you talk storylines, right? Everyone's the big storyline was like Messi bathing Lemmy, and there's also a picture, by the way, Messi with Kubarsi as a baby, which is kind of funny. Young player of the tournament without a doubt. I think he actually had a shout for even player of the tournament. Deserved to Rodri in my eyes, especially for the last couple of games. But
You don't think Laporte would have gotten it over Kubarsi?
no.
I feel like earlier in the tournament that defense was a little bit held up by Laporte, and by held up I mean they gave up 1 goal. It's like they're not under the cosh any
You know,
like
I probably
whatsoever.
still would have
So
given it to Messi or Mbappe. I think
I hear what
like
you're
they
saying.
were so
100%.
individually brilliant. Spain was so good as a team. Like
yeah,
even when I'm
and
picking the
like
team of the tournament, you know, we'll get into it, but I'm looking at that Spanish defense. I'm thinking, how many players can I get? You guys didn't let up more than 1 XG in a singular game.
We
You
didn't let up even that.
Argentina get did they even have a shot on target?
Not until
One.
the 117th minute.
Yeah, like 1 shot on target. Like, the defense as a whole was so brilliant, but I think Messi and Mbappe's individual brilliance.
I would also throw in for player of the tournament a rogue shout for Holland. I mean, he literally got Norway to a quarterfinal. Like
I
say you
agree
want
with
like
that. For an
Mbappe in
individual
France.
award.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Mbappe and France are surrounded by Ballon d'Or winners or Ballon d'Or like about to be like top 3s. And then Argentina, like, yeah, maybe they were carried, but they also have world-class players. I mean, Julian Alvarez
I
is
definitely would have
about
had
to go
those
for
3
like
as my top
120.
3.
Yeah, we'll jump into the awards in just a sec. Let's just stay on the game for a second, just kind of break down what we watched a little bit, because there was a couple of not controversial moments, but big moments in it. What I was going to say, though, is so De La Fuente became an educator for, I guess, like the FIFA A license in his off time. Luis Scaloni was in his class. So Scaloni was essentially taught by De La Fuente, which is really, really cool.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Right. Going into the game, obviously we mentioned it, right? It was essentially a boring game. I think the first half, more than anything, was extremely boring. Both teams feeling each other out. And I think more than anything, Argentina was a little bit like not shocked. They actually tried to play out in the first half. And I think they realized it's not going to work, right? They had a couple over the top, but it was very much like kick and run up to a 5'7" Alvarez and hope he could win a header over Cubarsí or Laporte, which didn't really work. They couldn't find Messi on the ball, which again and I'm not saying necessarily Messi had a bad game. It's just insane that a man that always finds a spot, a man that always gets on the ball, there was no space. There was no time to get on the ball.
And it just happened with France. And you have to look at who Spain played this tournament. It's not like you took an easy path to the finals.
Yeah.
You had to play Cristiano. You had to play Mbappe. You had to play Messi. And every single one of them was kept quiet. Elise had his worst game against the Spanish. It's just, they really put those players in bad positions to succeed. They suffocated the opposition. And it's the only game where Mbappe, couldn't get a goal and an assist. The only game where Messi didn't have a chance to turn and run at a defense.
Yeah. Insane. First half, boring. Second half, I think, is when the game woke up a bit, right? Spain kind of were like, all right, let's go get our goal. Shout out Emi Martinez. 11 saves in a World Cup final. I mean, people hate Emi Martinez for who he is. You have to give him his flowers. He made some ridiculous saves. The cross into the box to Nico, I think Pedri chipped it in. Nico gets a little bit of a touch on it. I understand that Emi's probably going that way anyway to save the cross. Still a ridiculous reaction save. I have to give him his flowers. He completely kept Argentina in this game.
We have seen goalies make mistakes this tournament, like either the ball threw them off, they're letting up a rebound. He was just eating up the pressure.
100%. And again, this was not necessarily a game where Spain weren't getting chances. Spain at one point had 20 shots. I think they had 15 on goal, 20 shots. He was doing his job. The Argentinian defense held up too. Got to feel for Licha Martinez again. If you don't like him, no, it is what it is. But it breaks my heart to see when a player in the World Cup final goes down with an injury and pulls himself out of the game, because that's a lifelong dream.
I feel like he was Argentina's best defender this World Cup.
Probably.
But even Romero went down too later. So it's
they had to pull him.
I do think that was maybe even a big turning point for Argentina just in general, because 2 out of their 5 substitutions or 6 in extra time had to be used on center backs. So you're sitting there and you're like, okay, I mean, I would love to add in a Loreto Martinez, or as they did later on, a Simeone or a Nico Paz, Thiago Almada, one of their attacking players. But I used 2 of my substitutes already on the defense, so I can't try and add in an attacker that maybe will influence a game in a way where we can get on the counter attack and he can use his pace against the center back. So I think that was kind of it helped Spain out in a way.
Without a doubt. I mean, and something my brother brought up too, which is an interesting point, is every team that Spain played, I think, starting with Portugal, actually had a massive injury in that game. Nuno Mendes goes down in the Portugal game. They have to pull him. Courtois goes down in the Belgium game. Then Lemons gives up a bad goal. The next game, France, Saliba goes down with a back injury early, which is not to necessarily discredit Spain, but it is something just insane to see.
They all number 3 too.
You have to be good enough to win the World Cup, and then you still need to have luck on your side.
Yeah.
Whether it's a ref call, the way a bounce goes, something like that with the injuries. There's always going to be a couple teams that are good enough, and Spain was without a doubt one of them. And then little bits of luck like that helps. The Saliba one, I think, was big.
Yeah.
Licha is huge.
Yeah, I mean, the Courtois one, right? That game's 0-0. Courtois comes out. Layman's, I mean, you never know, right? Maybe Spain scores a different way against Belgium, whatever. But that, he completely botches that, right? That's a goalkeeper 100%. Mistake. And Nuno Mendes, he comes out, and now you think, all right, well, Lamine is free now, right? Because Nuno Mendes is probably the only left back in the world, I think, when we play, when it's Lamine and him, that's where I'm like, all right, this is a 50-50 matchup. You know what I mean?
Cucurella.
Cucurella did have a big game against Lamine. But by the way, just talking about some of the Spanish performances, and we talk about this backline. The backline is the thing people worried about with the Spanish team. I think the attack a bit as well. But again, when you're talking about Lamine, and at that point, we didn't know how much Nico we were going to play pre-tournament.
Shout out Nico just coming in, being injured too, and still balling.
Oh my God, what a performance. We'll talk about the subs, but back to that backline. Cucurella, who's known for going forward, don't get me wrong, right? There was no questions about him going forward. Pedro Porro winning the job over Marcus Llorente, who everyone kind of thought was
impressive.
Them both, and also defensively them both.
Cucurella and this runs that he would make.
And that's why Barca, especially with Lamine, don't get me wrong, I love Jules Koundé, great defender, probably a top 5 right back in the world, maybe top 3. I think that is where people, Barca fans, have said, like, Lamine needs a Pedro Porro, because Porro makes these runs off of him that forces the left back to make decisions, right? Or if you're double teaming me, you now have to kind of pick your poison here. Porro getting the chip in to Nico, who heads it down to Ferran. Obviously, in the game against France, we didn't even talk semifinal. Obviously, I was at the game. Unreal experience. Just imagine how good an experience I could have had and then times it by 10. That's what my experience was. You guys probably saw a little bit on the Classes Permanent page. I was posting some stories and things, but Porro scoring in that game.
Yeah.
Right?
Perfect
Insane.
run.
Perfect run. Kukureya in that game against France in like the 88th minute. I remember there's a ball into the middle. I think Olise picks it up, and Kukureya is pressing him in the 80, like, whatever.
No, he doesn't let attackers breathe. He is a proper, I said, Mourinho-esque defender, Cucurella. Mourinho's going to love him because he just has that dog in him.
Yeah.
He's also going to have De La Fuente's face tattooed on him now, too.
100%. I think it's already tattooed. I'm going to be honest. Spain posted something where it was like coming soon and it was a tattoo. But unreal from then. And let's just talk real quick. We mentioned subs a little bit. I want to talk a little bit about subs for both squads. So we talked about it. You know, Argentina having to make 2 early subs, or at least 1 early sub on a center back, and then having to take off Nico Gonzalez. I said when the game started, like, this guy is ass. I do not understand how he gets in this.
Odd call to start him in that match.
And he keeps playing for Scaloni. I'm like, why do you keep putting this guy in? Not saying he's necessarily the worst footballer on earth, but like, we've been talking about like who brings extra dynamism, who brings a little extra, and you're looking at it and you're like, but you keep putting this guy, right? This is probably a guy that's dispensable compared to some of the other players in the team. You keep putting him in, you have to sub him. Not being able to get Lautaro Martinez in, who is just a big game player. He's reminding me a lot of Angel Di Maria for this Argentina team, where in every big game, he scores, right? Him and Messi have an unreal connection. On top of it, you keep bringing in Facundo Medina, who's not bad, but again, it's like you keep bringing in these guys and you keep kind of being in the same position over and over again, versus on the flip, De La Fuente in the semifinal starts Fabian Ruiz, right? Fabian Ruiz, and then Pedri to end the game to kind of kill the game off. The same thing with this one. Pedri comes in, absolutely, and I don't want to say changes the...
No, he bossed the pitch, dude. He was gliding around, just holding the ball, trying to ping his pass.
Preserving his legs. He's also a recovery machine. People don't really realize it with him. I think 2 years ago, he led all of Europe in recoveries in the midfield. He works his tail off. He's not putting in tackles like an N'Golo Kanté, but he's just in the right spots. You bring in Mikel Merino.
Extra threat in the box, just like, oh, how do we mark that? Almost scored one.
You know, we talk about great strikers and some of the best, like one of the biggest things that goes underrated is just like their intelligence in the box, right? And understanding where to be. And Merino, time and time again, just being in the right spot. He obviously has a goal disallowed. And listen, he stepped on Otamendi's foot. I thought it was a very soft call. I also thought it was something that was like, you're really going to call this back? It is what it is. He did step on his foot. It just felt like a very soft and like whatever. But Merino even getting himself a goal technically, which a little BS. You bring in Nico Williams.
Was it Merino?
It was Merino.
Not Nico?
Nico Williams.
I think Nico slotted it.
You're right. I'm sorry. He slotted it. Merino kicked it into Emi Martinez, and then, yes, Nico finished it. You're totally right. But again, I don't want to say creating that goal, but essentially being like the reason for it.
He's just always in the right spots. Like, you take a photo, a goal happened, where's Mikel Merino? A chance happened, where's Merino?
Unreal. And again, at the end of that game, I mean, Ferran Torres is in the game, of course, but like Spain playing a really interesting way where you take off Dani Olmo, who immense. We'll get into our team of the tournament.
It's different, but it almost reminds me of like when Fellaini would always sub in and just pop up with a goal or a header. And I was like, how is he? Well, how's he doing
I also
this?
I also think him and Olmo, obviously different players and different styles playing the 10, but Merino kind of plays it how we view Jude playing it. And I'm obviously not saying him and Jude are the same player, but like he makes those like long runs from the midfield and gets that head of steam going into the box where he then knows where to go. Like even
Total
the goal against
Olmo, more of a natural 10 where he's going to create, and those two are box crashers.
100%. At the end of the game, that's what you need there, right? Because we talk about how, you know, at times Spain can look a little toothless, especially when you only have Ferran or Oyarzabal. Obviously both nines, but not like this Erling Haaland, not this Harry Kane, who's just lethal. So you add a second threat.
Especially with Argentina sitting back like that, pin back, you need an extra runner in the box.
And not to mention Merino, just to give him even more flowers, all over the field. All over. You'd be like, all right, you're playing the 10, stay higher. He's getting hit in the face by Messi, right, on a shot. He's getting fouled in the midfield, right, like fighting for the ball. I think something that's good about his game is when you put him in that 10 role, you know he's not a proper 10. So he's almost a floater, right?
Yeah.
He just kind of goes wherever the game goes, and you now just have an extra player in all these situations.
And I mean, that's even when Jude is at his best too, where he's
Yep.
floating around and he's like, oh, he just popped up with a big tackle here because of his athleticism. He just received it in the wide space. Like,
Nico having a massive impact in this game. Massive. Of course, getting the assist. Of course, we said maybe having the disallowed goal, but massive, because now you put him on the left side, and now there's no more like, all right, we're just worried about the right. You now have threats on both sides. You have a guy with pace. He did piss me the fuck off when he was like one-on-one in the box, essentially.
he chopped
And
it back.
I don't even know what he was trying to do. He tried
I think
to
he wanted to like Ronaldo chop it and it hit his foot.
I could not believe that. I was like, I was screaming. My parents were like, it's okay. And I'm like, if he just lost us the world again, I'm getting flashbacks of just moments in my life watching these games and someone making a mistake. Argentina picks it up, goes on a counterattack and scores. And you're like, what did we just do?
But you have to think he wasn't in all game. The fact that he got in and instantly was beating players that easily, he was getting involved. Like him and Marino got in. First couple didn't work out. It's either, ruled out or something else is happening, but they were just involved in the game. And obviously Ferran as well. Then it popped up
and
hit the winner.
Even the balls to take out Rodri, right? His legs were probably gone. He'd played a ton of time. Bringing in Zubamendi, who, again, nothing remarkable from Zubamendi, but also did his job, right? Also no mistakes, also no, lack in the midfield, right?
That's a year of watching Zubamendi. That is what he does. And I think sometimes Arsenal fans forget that because they look at a Rodri or they look at a Caicedo playing the six and they're like, dude, he is so good at those, breaking line passes, but Zubamendi's he's more of that, metronome, keep the ball rolling, Jorginho type of player, where it's like, he's not going to sit there and break up crazy counterattacks. He's not going to sit there and play a 30-yard ping to Nico Williams on the run. He's just going to sit there and be
the game.
Keep control. Let me win the ball back once it gets pushed out. Let me play it sideways, play it back, keep the ball. And I think at that moment in time when you're up 1-0 and you just want control of the game and you don't want to be too aggressive, he's the perfect player to have on your bench to kind of put in.
How many times could De La Fuente press the right button? There was times early in the tournament, okay, you don't want to rush Lamine, you don't want to rush Nico back. You sit them the first game, you're sitting Nico longer. But when the moment called for it, he used them. And we were almost talking about it, at Sherry's bachelor party. It's weird with England. When Saka was needed, he wasn't used. It was kind of oh, we don't want to play him because he's hurt, but we're just going to throw it in when we could toss him a bone. He was trying to push the right buttons, and at the end of the day, it didn't work out. De La Fuente, the whole tournament, really didn't get a decision wrong.
Yeah, unreal.
Well,
maybe Cabo Verde.
I'll also add to that De La Fuente. I think you were about to go there, E, where realistically, if all three of us had to sit here and have a honest discussion, no bias, who's a better right back, Pedro Porro or Marcus Llorente? I feel like we would, at least two out of the three of us would sit there and be like Llorente. But after that first game against Capo Verde, where Llorente
I expected Llorente to start.
And they just didn't work well. So what does he do? He puts in a true wing back in Pedro Porro, and that side of the field becomes better. And you're just
wildly impressive.
That's a right
Porro
button.
then popped up so many times doing the right thing. And it's hard as a coach going into the tournament thinking, oh, this is going to be my starter, and being able to be flexible and make that change. And he didn't make too many changes, but he continued to make the right ones. How many coaches would realistically sit there and say, oh, I don't know if Pedri should be benched this game? Even that is such a difficult call for whatever reason. If it was fit, if his legs are a little too tired. But it's not like then Pedri felt discarded. He's going to come in and feel unimportant. Pedri came in and did exactly what he needed to do, and every decision was made for the sake of the team.
Yeah, it is truly a team game. And something that Marcus Llorente said afterwards in an interview, which was really interesting, is he said, I don't think the younger players understood what we were doing today. And I read it as whoa. And then I kind of understood it. He meant, and he said there was no tension before the game, in the sense no one was anxious. The younger players, it was another game for them, which I think goes to also speak for the fact they've all played so many big games, and a World Cup final is the biggest game of your career, right? Especially against Messi. But they came into the game and they were just all right, we're gonna play another game, whatever it is, what it is, and they all stepped up. They
didn't even overreact at the end. They were
I know.
so composed and so confident. To go into that France game and essentially just chat your shit, go into a game against Messi and everything like no panic. You're 80 minutes into a game, you haven't scored. Keep trusting the game plan. Keep
Yeah.
trusting the game plan. We're methodical. We're fine. No need to panic. They won. They're all happy. Lamin's
Yep.
hanging out with Nico, making his joke. They were crying. They didn't expect this. It was so impressive.
So impressive. And even Lamine, right? A player who everyone was like, he's going to have a massive tournament for Spain to win the World Cup. I think he had a big effect on the game. He obviously pulls 2 defenders. He didn't have this statistical crazy thing, right? He probably even said the final, he didn't even play that well, right? Like, played well, but Lamine not playing well is still better than 95% of players on the earth.
Argentina still put their game plan against him. Like, he still is then going to free up other parts of the pitch for other people.
And he worked his tail off defensively. There's a couple of times where he'd lose the ball and you see him just come running back and just poke it away from somebody. And like, how many young wingers are doing that, right? He definitely got frustrated, but they kept saying, and I've heard some of the other Spanish players say, like, I guess, I don't know how it came up. People were like, oh, like Lamine's not playing his best. And they're like, Lamine is fully for the team. Lamine doesn't care to score. Like, he is fully for the team, whatever it takes. And he keeps saying, and it's like, say what you want. That's incredible maturity for a 19-year-old who has been given everything, right? Everyone is crowning him the next like legend. Incredibly impressive.
And now you're 19 with a World Cup and a Euros.
It's
Rodri's won it all.
I know. It's terrifying to think that the next World Cup, Lamine will only be 23. I think, so what, 4 years? So I think Pedri will
if
be...
he could add a Club World Cup to his trophy cabinet, people are going to talk about him like a real player here.
Well, he needs to add a Champions League first.
Once he adds that Champions League, then we'll worry about the Mickey Mouse Cups. But absolutely unreal. It's, again, as a Spaniard, it's insane. I mean, the 2010 World Cup, I remember when I was 10, so it's very different. But now, like, having this moment, having it with my family, going to the semifinal, like, memories I'll have forever. And, like, I almost feel like I don't need
anymore. It's nice to taste a piece of it in person.
Oh my God, it was absolutely insane. I almost went to the hotel that they're staying at in Montclair last night just to say, yeah, wait, whoa. What was that?
I was thinking,
What did you say?
What did you say it again one more time?
It's nice to taste a piece of it in person. When the Club World Cup was here, I was at the semis with my father. He was with his father. It's just, the tournament is here. Go enjoy it with the family. Go taste a piece. Go taste peace in person.
That's going to be the new. That's going to be the new FIFA marketing line. Taste a piece of it in person. Let's talk real quick. Just the very end of the game. Obviously, Paredes just being a dickhead. He ends up like throwing Gavi on the floor, kicking
Enzo, why?
Enzo with the red, almost killing Kubarsi.
Dude, Enzo, you have to understand, I got the casuals back on your side. You score the equalizer in the semis. James Sherry's texting us all in a group chat going, oh, Ethan and Pooch, apologize to Harubi. Enzo stepped up. He's not embarrassing himself. Then he goes and embarrasses himself.
Yeah,
and then not
Dude,
only
Madrid is
that,
gonna have to publicly reject him again.
well, and then not only that, but then once Kubarsi's on the ground, Cucurella goes over to talk to Messi and clearly says he got hit in the mouth. And Messi's like, oh, he's covering his face. And Enzo immediately runs over and starts snitching on Cucurella. And I'm like, dude, you've been teammates with him for like 3-4 years. That's how
I can't blame. That I can't blame.
What do you mean you can't blame that? That's his
like
teammate.
When Wayne Rooney and Ronaldo were playing each other in the World Cup and Ronaldo snitched on Rooney to get the red. Like, you're playing each other in a World Cup final. Like, I don't think you can get mad at Ronaldo or at Enzo for that. But Enzo's just dumb. Like, discipline was a Chelsea issue all year, and it showed in this game.
Yeah. Yeah.
To be fair, I did see it, and Cucurella just touches his mouth. He doesn't really cover it.
No, exactly.
So now having seen it, I don't think he should have been sent off. But if Cucu and Enzo were both sent off, like, our Chelsea chat was already kind of going crazy, being like, oh, ay Dios mío, Enzo, why? But that would have really been the cherry on top.
That was awesome. And then my final point on this game, Spain go to lift the trophy in 45-47. He's trying to pull another Chelsea Club World Cup.
Welcome to the club, dude. Welcome to the club.
Well, Spain posted a picture, obviously, of the lift, and they edited him out. He's just edited out, and it's just like, dude, get off the stage, man. It's always about you.
The fact that we knew he did that in the Club World Cup, the fact that they clearly told him don't do it again, and you could see he's purposefully trying to stay. Like, Infantino threw his hands up being like, not again, bro. We told you. Like,
he went running across the stage to grab him. And it is what it is. It was obviously awesome. It doesn't matter one way or another. They had him out of the picture, but it was just hilarious. Like, you knew it was coming. And the fact that they even, like, Rodri, like, he wanted to stand next to Rodri as Rodri lifted it.
Rodri was waiting.
Rodri was like, okay, get out of the way. Come on. And then he goes over
they
to
all
Pedri.
knew it too.
Dude,
All
last
the
time
players
Reese
knew it.
literally was so shocked. He was like, are you staying? And Trump is like, I think I will. And Cole Palmer's like, what is happening? Like, why is this allowed?
Yeah, I think that's the last time we're going to probably see a tournament in the U.S. for the next, what is it, 2 more
3
years?
Well,
Yeah,
you
2 to
could
3
say
years.
that. You could say that. It all depends on who gets in office. If they give Infantino a nice little bribe, they're going to win the FIFA Peace Trophy. They're going to be
Yeah.
on stage.
Also, real quick, just on the tournament in general, I've had a lot of people talking to me because I claim to know a lot about the history of FIFA, which I feel like I do. I know a decent amount, and they keep telling me like, oh, this was rigged for Messi. This was rigged in this way. And I ask them, well, why? And they're like, oh, well, VAR made this call, or like the ref made this call. And I keep telling them, and I just want to remind everybody, because Ruby just reminded me, just a quick PSA, FIFA is corrupt. But they're not corrupt. They're not corrupt in a way where they're going to bribe a referee. Like it's like a third division in
Right,
like
right.
some random like third world country. Like that's not how they do it. They're bribing it in terms of bigger stuff. Like, hey, maybe we should let Flo Balogun play. Or
Yeah.
hey, maybe Russia and Qatar should get a World Cup. Like that's
Yeah.
the corruption level. Like all that, like they're paying referees
They're
for
not
games.
calling into a
That's
VAR
bullshit.
room and being like, you need to change this call right
Yeah,
now. We
no.
need Messi in the next round.
I hate
you
it.
have to respect the level of corruption FIFA has. They're not doing any of this petty shit where they're like Harubi said, calling into VAR rooms. No, they're like trying to like regime change in like soccer, where they're like, let's give like Qatar, who has a plethora of human rights violations going, like the World Cup, and we're gonna move it to the winner for them. Like
Yeah,
that's
they're like-
that's
they're
the,
They're like,
CIA
oh shit,
level. They're
add a
not local police
hydration break.
department.
They're like, add a hydration break and make more money. Don't mind if we do.
yeah,
Right,
exactly.
exactly. All right, on a different note than corruption, let's talk real quick just about the awards that were given out. So first off, Kubarsi Young Player Award. Personally, for me, I mean, this was obvious. This was completely obvious. If we want to talk about Best Player Award, which was won by Rodri, I think Kubarsi even deserves a shout there. Played every minute of every game for Spain, conceded only 1 goal, and also on top of it, like just his ball distribution, what he meant to the team in the 120th minute, the one that the cross that comes into the box low on the ground and gets knocked out, which I thought was a goal at first. I almost passed out. It's him who's in it, winning it again. The names we spoke about that he stopped, 19 years old, man. 19 years old, and he's doing this. They gave Cannavaro a Ballon d'Or for less than what Kubarsi did, by the way. Immense tournament. They always said in La Masia that, you know, Lamine Yamal, but they always used to talk about Kubarsi and said that he's like, at this point they didn't say, but like he was the Lamine Yamal of defenders in La Masia. They knew who he was going to be. He's a proper Catalan, the whole thing. He's very Gerard Piqué-esque. Totally deserved in my eyes, though.
I
I mean,
do
real quick,
think,
what a shot at Cannavaro.
yeah.
Sorry.
I do just think Spain defended so well as a team that like he'd be in my top 5 for voting. He probably wouldn't be my top choice. I think Rodri would be in my top 5. He probably would have been like 3rd or 4th.
Yeah.
But I think it was just like Michael Owen said, in essence, it is harder to create than it is to destroy. You could tell me to build this house and I wouldn't be able to do it no matter how much time you gave me. But if you gave me a few days, I'd be able to knock it down.
Yeah.
So what Messi, Mbappe, and Haaland did was just unprecedented for me in a World Cup. I would have given it to one of them personally, but Young Player of the Tournament is a massive prize, and he should be
100%.
proud of that, and nothing tops being a World Cup champion.
Yeah, I think Golden Boy, right, or whatever it's called. I think it's called Young Player Award. Was no doubt. We'll talk Golden Ball because I agree. I was a little bit shocked to see Rodri get it. I understood he actually was massive for us, especially in the last final games. Like he was everywhere. It looked like Ballon d'Or. Rodri was back, which
It did look like Ballon d'Or Rodri.
Pep Guardiola said it, and there was an interview. I'm gonna, verbatim. He said, this season's not about Rodri. Rodri will be back at his best for the World Cup. That's what's most important to me, and like for next season. And he showed it. Pep is a genius, and he got it. But I agree with you. I mean, if we're talking actual Golden Ball winner, I think it's hard. We could probably debate here for hours. Messi versus Mbappe for me personally. Going back and forth with the goal scoring record, Mbappe having an insane one. You could say Messi really carrying his
Just
team.
really felt like they were going bar for bar individually.
Yeah. I think my top two would probably be those two. I think after that is maybe where you talk Haaland. I think Kane even gets a bit of a shout because of what he did for England. I agree. Probably Kubarsi at that point falls off just a little bit. I think his finals performance was just immense. I guess my point is if you're going to give it to a Spaniard because we won the tournament, I personally, him and Rodri for me were neck and neck. If we're being as unbiased,
Rodri also has the leadership factor.
Yeah,
where like
captain.
when Modric is taking Croatia to the World Cup.
Yeah,
when Zidane is carrying France to the World Cup, you just look at the heartbeat of the team, and Rodri is that emotional leader, the leader on the pitch. Just he made Spain different.
Without a doubt.
I think my top 5, if I had to pick, I think I would probably go Messi 1. I think he probably should have gotten it because he got at least to the final.
Yeah.
And he did carry that Argentina. I mean, you saw it yesterday in that game. I think 2, I would actually pick Haaland because once again, the same vibe, but with a worse team in Norway, and he got them to the quarterfinals. 3, I would then go Mbappe. 4, I would then go Rodri, and then I think if I'm being honest with myself, 5 would probably be Kubarsi. Now, my only thing with an English player not getting into that top 5, and it's between Kane and Bellingham, is because I think they take the votes in my head off of each other because both are so good that they split. If Harry Kane was the one that got like 8 or 9 goals, and Jude was maybe supplying a couple of assists, and then somebody else, then I would Kane would be in the top 3. Yeah. But same thing if it was vice versa. Yeah. But they both
you can make an argument
deliver.
For one of them at 5th, but it's they'd probably be yours. Yeah. 6, 7.
And that's why I put Mbappe 3 too, because like at the same time he was so great for his team. You also had Dembele scoring, Barcola scoring, Olise creating. So like. Once again, it kind of takes the shine off of him a bit, where I look at a Messi and a Haaland, where both of them just like put the team on their back and carried.
What about like our unsung hero top 3 of the tournament?
Granit Xhaka.
Marino is an obvious one.
Yep.
You could say
Granit Xhaka. He brought Switzerland to the final 8.
Monzambi did that.
I was even going to say
Monzambi didn't play last 2 games.
He was signing for Aston Villa.
Yeah,
bigger moves.
He was doing a medical.
I really liked Cabell for Switzerland too.
Yep.
But I'm thinking of more like fun, like Marino super sub.
Yeah, more niche. I think Trossard for Belgium is a good shout because he did, or De Ketelaere. He obviously scores against Spain. He beats up on the U.S. I think that's 2 really good shouts.
2 really good shouts.
Maybe for the Dutch, you could go with one of the center backs.
No, don't. You can't add the Dutch. They lost in the round of 32. Like, I'm just being honest. Like you can't really say unsung hero when you pplayed 4 games and you've been on the beach for the past 2 weeks.
I even think I'm just thinking of some of the better teams. Like I guess, for Norway, Nyland, the goalkeeper, having a massive performance and keeping him in a lot of those games.
I would also say maybe a Dan Burn shout in terms of unsung hero. Like
I kind of like that. Like I'm almost going for that super sub type. Like until England got eliminated, if you said that, the Brits would have been like, hell yeah, like Dan Burn comes in, he's dunking on people.
Capucci. No, Dan Capucci comes.
Anthony Gordon having a really good tournament as well, but maybe not getting the praise that, again, a Kane or a Bellingham is
a
in
lot
that
of
England
the off-the-ball stuff.
Maybe for France, talking about Upamecano, obviously being a very good center back. At some point, people had him in this as one of the center backs of the tournament.
See, I would do Barcola. To me, Barcola is one of the top 4 or 5 left wingers in the world.
Here we go. This is Arsenal.
Unless he doesn't sign for Arsenal.
Unless
he doesn't sign for Arsenal.
No, Barcola's ass. By the way,
I like
Barcola's
Barcola.
the-
Pooch is the one who called Sandro Tonali most complete midfielder in the world, went to Tottenham, and Morgan
Yeah, and I'm
Rogers.
staying by
Teta
that.
was crying over him.
And I'm standing by that.
I do just want to also say, I said Dembele doesn't show up when the pressure is on. I didn't know he played against Spain. I was in the building. I didn't see him. I was checking the concessions, the men's bathroom. I asked a woman to check the woman's bathroom. He was not anywhere to be seen. So once again, he only shows up when the pressure's off.
Well, he was probably put on the worker's uniform because they told him you got to put a shift in somewhere.
You got to do something.
And he was flipping burgers.
Yeah, he was selling merch outside. He was scanning tickets.
Yeah.
Also, Lucas Digne, you will pay for your sins. Didier Deschamps. We sat here on the podcast. We told you, do not start Digne. It's going to be an issue. We admitted Theo Hernandez wasn't perfect either. Maybe you could have gotten very creative. You could have brought in a Gusto. You could have done something.
Yep.
But we said, do not play Digne. That dude, what a brain dead move.
Yes, Pooch.
And not only that was my Dan Burn impression.
Okay.
And then not only because he has 4 fingers. And then not only that, but Ethan also pointed out, like Ethan was like, please, for the love of God, if you're gonna double him up, Yamal with a midfielder, make it Tukameni and not Kone. You were like he skins Kone or the Tukameni all the time. But what does Deschamps do? He starts Tukameni and like Rabiot, and it's like Ethan told you, Deschamps, we gave you the blueprint. No Digne.
Like, I know
put in
Rabiot's
Kone.
going at home, like punching air, being like that damn Lamine kid again.
He was pissed. He said like there was a lot of things that were just unacceptable as well. And Mbappe said it too. I mean, like that France performance, don't get me wrong, it's all credit or a lot of credit to Spain, but they also just did not play well. Like it was just not a good. I mean, Olise, worst game of the tournament for him, without a doubt. Maybe the worst I've ever seen Olise play in my life.
Mbappe said they should have even pressed man to man. That like they were kept keeping the person back and allowed Spain to just hold the ball the whole time.
Yep.
And then, like you said, if Olise's not going to perform, if Mbappe's not going to get a chance. Like, and another point, I think I said it this weekend too. You know, I rated France so highly. I got so caught up in this attack. Everyone's trying to make the Brazil comparisons. The midfield got dog walked.
Yeah.
Like this midfield wasn't a type like Kanté, Pogba, Griezmann, where they could match with the best teams in the world in that World Cup. You know, they could beat Modric, Rakitic, Kovacic. They could compete with high-level midfield. France's midfield, a little too focused on the pace and power, couldn't control the game like a Spain, didn't have, you know, Pogba's deep-lying playmaking ability like Spain was having in this game or France did in the past. The midfield got dog-walked.
Yeah, I think a mistake too is like we said, right? And I told my family about this, about the Spain game against Argentina, is we were going to walk over their midfield, and I thought it was going to happen. It happened again against France because the problem is they're playing Olise as a 10, right? So you realistically have 2 central midfielders. You're going against a Spain team that's going to play 3 in the midfield that are all going to work back and forth. And not to mention the way that Spain uses their center backs, where you have sometimes Laporte 25 yards out from goal carrying the ball. You know, you can't have an Olise in the 10, right? With, you know, I think they started Barcola and Dembele on the wide. You should have probably sat Barcola, gone a front 3 of however you want to do it. Of, you know, Mbappe, Dembele, Olise, or maybe you put Doué on the left, whatever, and then had a 10 in there that was a little bit more, like, gone with a little bit more of a proper 3 where you maybe it was a Rabiot, Tchouaméni, and Kone, and now you can match that. And I get it. You don't want to start changing what's been working, right? I also understand that. If they won that game that way, we'd go, yeah, they're just too hard to stop. But
it takes those brave tactical choices sometimes.
100%. Let's rip through the final of these awards. Unai Simon, Golden Glove. This is obviously just given to the guy with the most clean sheets. We do got to I have to give him a bit of an apology. After the quarterfinal, I was a little bit like, oh, maybe we have to get rid of him for this job. His sweeping was terrific. I don't know if you guys remember against Messi in this game. He came out like 35 yards. I didn't even know.
I remember.
I mean, he did a lot there, and then on top of it, just kept it secure. Very good on the ball, very comfortable on the ball after making some earlier mistakes earlier in the tournament. And credit to him, it's very easy for the media to start turning and going, hey, you need to play Raya and Joan Garcia. They're better players. And even if they were saying
another
that,
brave call by the managers, like, oh, I won the Euros with this guy. I feel safe with him. I'm going to keep him. It's a tough call because you have Joan Garcia and Raya, but it's just another brave call.
100%. Mbappe obviously wins the Golden Boot. I did have a question here about that. do we think anyone will ever be able to beat Mbappe's goal scoring record at the World Cup in the sense of all time? He's at 20. I just don't know if it's possible.
Maybe once I'm in the dirt.
Yeah, right? Like, Lamine, you'd probably say, like, oh, like a 19-year-old who's played, but, like, Lamine had 1 goal this tournament.
He's also not a goal scorer like that. He's like a creator.
Exactly. Maybe Kane if he plays the next one. I don't know how many goals. I think Kane's on, like, 13. But he'd have to have a 7-game tournament and hope Mbappe doesn't play. That's the tricky part, is you have to hope that he doesn't play again. So, I don't know. I think that might be one of those records that's up there for a long, long time.
The only thing that could happen is, like, Mbappe has played a couple World Cups where it was 1 game less.
Yes.
So you could have somebody, maybe they expand the World Cup again or it just stays this amount of games. They start so young. It's not impossible, but it'll be near impossible.
How many did Haaland have?
This World Cup, I think it's 7.
7.
But it's like
20?
Haaland already missed out on a chance to play in a World Cup.
That's in 2.
But
yeah, like he's similar age as Mbappe. Mbappe's already played in 3.
Right. He's going to have to catch up to him on 13 more goals, and Mbappe's playing the tournaments too that he's going to be playing in. That's why I'm saying I don't know if we can catch him.
It's going to be like some kid we don't know. Like he's like not born yet.
Yeah, ooh, maybe my kid.
Jr.
Ooh,
yeah,
that could be cheeky. All right, and then the Dutch win the Fair Play Trophy. Congratulations on that, Pooch. So give a quick clap to the Dutch. Fair Play. Congrats, Pooch. Fair Play Trophy award winner. Wara Trophy.
It's not a Wara Trophy. It's a trophy.
Listen, we chat
it's
shit
a
about
trophy.
We chat shit about the teams that play dirty. So you have to give credit to the teams that play clean.
And shout out, you won the bracket challenge.
Yeah, me and my dad tied for the bracket challenge. So I'm gonna do maybe. Oh, should we bring my dad on for a segment? I think that's only fair that
we said that you have to. They get the winner gets to come on.
We
for
should
a
bring
segment,
Pops on for a segment.
We will definitely bring my dad on for a segment. That would be awesome. Maybe we might
Cristiano retire.
We might have to do that for today because I'm moving to Miami next week, and I don't know if I'm gonna be able to show him how to set this thing up. So we'll see, but we won't actually do it today. But Dad, congratulations, you won the tournament. You and I tied, but I'll give it to you because you're long time, first time listener. Already, let's start with our power rankings. Let's just start at 1 and just get it out of the way. For me personally, I have Spain. I don't know. Yeah, that's a bit of a hot take.
Whoa!
I've taken
Wait,
Spain
hold
here.
on.
Where the Stars and Stripes, my brother.
No debate there. I think mainly we just spoke about this off air. When it comes to this list, it's going to be more about our placement of teams than it is the actual teams. Maybe the 5th team will be a bit of a debate, but I think when we talk 2, 3, 4, it's just where you rank them. Let's move into 2. I personally have France at 2. Despite them not playing in the World Cup final, I thought the World Cup final was actually France-Spain. In that sense, I have France too. Again, Spain smothered them, but you can't discredit what France did this entire tournament. And just again, the past 5, 6 years of France, I think some of that history too. Did you guys have France at 2?
Yeah.
I had France at 2. I think if Spain had to say, what game were we most nervous about, what's going to be our most difficult game, it came to the France game. They still have the most star power.
Yep.
But I think they're good too.
Let's move over to number 3. I took Argentina here at 3. All in agreement?
I almost wanted to pick England because I think deep down they should still beat Argentina, but I just saw with my own eyes Argentina beat England. If you tell me tomorrow Messi says, okay, I'm done with the national team, I'm going to put England above them. But if that dude's legs still exist, if he's still on the pitch, I just saw it happen, I have to put Argentina.
I totally agree.
Pooch does not.
I put England at 3.
Okay. I don't mind that at all. Tell me about that.
I put England at 3 because I think they are a better team than Argentina. I think they should have won that game. I think, and in that one-off game, sure. But I think if those two teams play once a month against each other, England win maybe 8 out of the 12 times.
I actually agree. I'm swayed. If they replayed it tomorrow, I'd probably pick England to win it again.
I just think that they got lucky that Thomas Tuchel had a bone in his head and he decided to just put 6 defenders on with 30 minutes left. I don't think they do that every single time. I also think if you look at that game, shout out Harubi's boy Enzo Fernandez for punching Elliot Anderson in the back of the head in the 3rd minute. Probably should have been sent off. Like, if that was the 30th
Right.
minute instead of the 3rd,
I dead
he's
ass thought you
getting
were about to
sent off.
say, shout out Harubi's boy hitting a banger outside the box. Wouldn't happen every game.
No, but like honestly, I just think England is a better team than them. I think they have the better midfield. I think they have the better defense. I think that Tuchel really was the one that screwed up the game plan by putting 6 defenders on. I think if he waited until the 80th minute, they
Yeah.
don't. Argentina
Could
does not
survive
score
10
those goals.
minutes, but not
Yeah,
30.
exactly. Like, so I still think England is a better team than Argentina.
And I'm sorry, Enzo, you're no longer the double world champ. It is officially Cucurella, Club World Cup and World Cup champion.
I hear that shout, and that's where it gets tricky. That was kind of one of my big things is where do I rank those two? Because I agree with you, but I also, like we said, I just saw it with my eyes. So I'm going to give Argentina benefit of the doubt here. I don't want to disrespect them too much. If Messi retired today, I'd actually probably have him outside of my top 7, this Argentina team. You saw how they just played against Spain when Messi was pretty much out of the team.
We could do that debate for another pod. I think it's a good
yeah.
question. How far do they fall? And I think outside the top 7, it's possible.
I don't.
Here's the other thing. No Messi, I wonder, not in the same way Ronaldo, but I think it changes the way they have to line up. And it might not be the worst
Look,
thing.
in the past, when he sat out, when he had the short retirement, they literally were terrible. I don't know why.
Yeah.
It was like a post playing with Messi type hangover. They have the players to be good, but because they have to adjust that whole style, it might take a few years. It's possible
Right.
Nico Paz could slide in.
think-
Your strikers are good. Talent-wise, they're top 7. Just going to be an adjustment how you
Yeah.
play.
I think historically too, Argentina is a team where they need a top 3 player in the world, and then all of the guys around them. I mean, look at they had Maradona, and then after Maradona
True.
it was Riquelme, and then after Riquelme it was Messi. So like they're used to like being like, here is one of the best players you've ever seen with your eyes, and then a bunch of guys that will beat the shit out of you, and then
Yeah.
maybe we'll throw in a Lautaro or an Angel Di Maria.
That's what I was saying. It's hard to lose that one guy.
Yeah.
But they somehow make them. Like like I just mentioned, they had Maradona, Riquelme, and then now Messi. Like they've clearly like had a guy. I don't know.
So you're just
who that
saying the
next
next
guy
guy is
is.
going to pop up.
Yeah, like I think
They're just going to breed
Argentina
them.
just produces like a
course.
singular superstar. It's not like a France where you're like sitting there like this French team 20 years from now, you could be like, how did they come in 4th in this World Cup? Like we're looking at their players, you're like, what the hell happened? With Argentina though, historically, you're sitting there and you're like, all right, yeah, Maradona, what top 5 all time?
Yeah.
Like Riquelme, like maybe top 15, top 20. Messi, number 1. Like, so I think that they will. It might not be next year. The guy might not even be on the roster. The guy might be just being born today. Like, but I do think there will be a player that we will by the end of our lifetimes be like, that guy's top 5, and he was also Argentinian.
Fair enough. I kind of agree with that too. So that was our 3-4, right? You guys took.
Yeah,
Okay.
England. Over
Now, this is where I
Argentina.
think there'll be some debate too. And I went back and forth with 2 teams from my 5 spot. I've gone with the Dutch. I've gone with the Dutch over Morocco. And the reason I've gone with the
Seems reachy.
The reason I've gone with the Dutch here is because I think when they are flowing, they're really good. I think when Ronald Koeman's their manager, they're not. Now, I could make that same argument for Portugal, but Portugal isn't so much the manager sucks. Well, it does. The Portugal is still rocking Ronaldo up top. And I haven't seen them without him in my life. You know what I mean? I haven't seen this team where they're like, all right, we're just going to kind of rock up and take Ronaldo out and like let him sit on the bench. Maybe they'll flow better.
I
But
do like Portugal's midfield, though.
I do too.
And I feel like midfield is king right now. When I just watch with my eyes,
Right.
I'm a little bit more inclined to go with the stronger midfield than a stronger attack or even defense.
Now, I also took the Dutch because you may go, well, they just got knocked down in the round of 32. They also had to play France in the round of 32.
No, Morocco.
Oh, my,
played
you're right.
Morocco.
They knocked down Morocco. All right. I fucked that one up. All right. Give me Morocco at number 5. You know what? I got that a little turned around. I thought that they played France in the first round. You're right. They didn't.
Morocco lost to the French then.
That's what I got in my head. So I'm actually with Morocco at 5. I just think their consistency right now, they lost to a really good France team. And on top of that, they were down injured players where I think they would have given them more of a fight. I've taken Morocco there. What? I'd have the Dutch probably 6. Pooch?
Yeah, I put Morocco at 5. Um, I don't even think I have the Dutch at 6. I think I still would put
Frickin' pop the fezzes
Portugal
back
at
out,
6.
boys.
Think I'd put Portugal at 6. And honestly, the Dutch might not even be top 7.
I
Like,
got
I
I
don't
got
know.
Portugal at
I
7 right now.
think I
Portugal S6. Or
I had Portugal
5.
6. I had Portugal 6, and then Brazil and the Dutch were the ones where I was like 50-50 on. I don't know. I think when it comes to Morocco, I just think what they have right now is kind of everybody moving in the same way. I think,
Exactly.
like,
They do
yes, they
remind me
lost
more
to
of a Spain where they
France.
are like a
Yeah.
team.
Like, and yes, they lost to a French team, but that like handily, but like that French team, like we just mentioned, second best team in the world, like pretty clearly. Um, so I don't know. I think if you really wanted to have that Dutch conversation, like yes, they've probably, I think I would put them top 3 defensively,
Yeah.
but
Okay.
their attack is not great. They have a good midfield, but like if you put that midfield up against the Spanish or French midfield or even the English midfield, it's not going to be like like it's not like the same level. And then I think just like the coaching in general, like Spain, like De La Fuente, and I'm sure if he leaves, they have another one up. Like France, Deschamps leaves. Who do they pick up? A 3-time Champions League winner
Yeah.
in Zidane. Like they don't have a manager that besides like maybe an Arnie Slot, but like does he have the same pedigree at this point as a De La Fuente, Zidane, or Deschamps? No, or even a Tuchel. No, like I just don't think that they always find a way to get in their own way. So that's why I can't put them in the top 6 even, because
Yeah.
I just know that they're going to hurt me at some point.
After they did. And then Rubes, you said who'd you have? You had Brazil?
No, I wish I could pick Brazil. I would love to pick Brazil, but I went with Portugal. I
Wow.
think even like, based on play, who's the most impressive, I could have made an argument for Norway. But if I actually go based on who I think is the 5th best team in the world, I think Portugal's midfield is still super impressive for me. We're saying, Morocco got knocked out by France, while Portugal got knocked out by Spain, which is a very difficult game. I think even if Ronaldo does end up taking a step back, maybe you get more freedom for a Bruno Fernandes and they're going to continue to tick. So I would love for Brazil to be there, but just purely from a tactical point of view, I've gone with Portugal.
Okay, that's fair. Well, you guys let us know in the comments. What do you think here? My top 5 was Spain, France, Argentina, England, Morocco. Pooch's was Spain, France, England, Argentina, Morocco. And then Rube's was Spain, France, England, Argentina. Portugal.
Portugal.
It took me a second there. I was looking at my own list. Portugal.
Bruno Fernandes.
Let us know what you
Cristiano
think.
Ronaldo.
Is it Argentina over England, England over Argentina? Who gets that 5th spot for you? Maybe a team we didn't
Ruben
mention.
Dias.
Diogo Costa.
But that being said, that is going to be it for us here. Some housekeeping. We are going to be taking next Sunday off. Give us a little bit of a break. But we are very excited. We'll be back. I guess it would be Monday morning, but we'll be back on August 3rd. Excited to talk a little bit about whatever transfer news goes by. Excited to talk about some of the excitement that is coming up with the new season. We have some cool segments ready to go.
Morgan Rogers. Morgan Rogers.
Yeah, we're going to be hearing a lot of that. We have a cool segment, and I'll tease it, that we are, and if you have a friend or somebody that we know that is trying to get into soccer that has not picked a club yet, let us know. We are going to be consultants. And by the end of each segment, helping someone pick their club that they'll be rooting for this season. Doesn't have to be one of ours. Doesn't even have to be a Prem club. Who knows? Maybe we get someone just on an MLS team. So something super excited. But like I said, that being said, Spain are 2-time world champions. The summer of E just doesn't end. I think I went 46-2 in Flip Cup playing baseball at a bachelor party. It just, sometimes I kept saying, we don't fear death. I fear not living. We love you all. Class is permanent. Form is temporary. We will see you guys soon. Peace.